Only regret I have is not discovering it a little bit earlier, I think. So, and I just kind of started buying books for people and said, this is what I want to do. And shortly thereafter, we started a book study, leadership drip email that we started. That actually expanded out to our police department and our library staff as well. They made comments that they wanted to see it happen, and we did.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Real People Getting Real Results. I love doing this show because I get to share people who are getting real results with all of you. So thanks for listening. If you're listening on the podcast to the audio, and a reminder again, the primary channel this goes out is on our Blue Collar Leadership YouTube channel as a video. And there'll be some things on the video you might not see if you're just listening. But either way, I appreciate you listening. So today, or watching. Today I got Brandon Kluthe from Grand Island, Nebraska. So welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you, Mr. Mack.
And it's awesome to have you on here. It's just, I don't know why I didn't start doing this series sooner. It just hit us this year, part of growth. And it's like earlier this year, we decided, man, we need to introduce these people and let them help us help other people, because everybody we have on here, you guys have a story that inspires different people, right? Have you seen some of these shows?
I have. And it's good to see every one of them. I haven't watched every single episode, but it's good watching them because it's good to see where people come from. They come from the bottom of the trenches, or they start at the top and they just stay with this content. So it's good to see.
Yep. So you got a cool and unique story. You remember, I always ask people if you remember how we know each other, because I want folks to know I know you some kind of way. Sure. We talk fairly often, but you remember how that got started or when?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a funny story for me, because I about a year ago in August is kind of when I started picking up the leadership content. And I actually hopped out to go do some yard work one day and went to research some podcast on safety to just try and get our safety meetings are always a little bit stagnant and nobody does a lot of conversing and everything else. So I was trying to find something to get us going a little bit. And I stumbled upon Blue Collar Leadership on podcast and started listening to that. And I actually listened to about 4 hours of content that day.
Wow.
And in one episode you had made the comment, here's my phone number, give me a call. And I kind of said, this guy, he's kind of blowing some smoke. There's no way he's going to answer anybody that calls him. And I saved your number and I called you the next day, and lo and behold, you answered. And we had, I don't know, probably a 20-minute conversation that first day. And, I kind of told you kind of what I was looking to do. And, we stayed in contact from then on. So it's been good. And I've read a lot of your guys' books, yours and Ria's both, and it's good.
Yeah, man, that's outstanding. So tell me about your background and your growth journey, whatever you want to share, personally or professionally, just where you come from, where you going, kind of thing.
Sure. I like I said, about August 2023 is kind of when I started. I like your guys' content because it's a short 3-chapter, 3-page, books, 3-page, 30-chapter books. I'm sorry. And
most of them are. Yep.
Yeah. And that's what I love about it. It's good content. It's short, sweet, it's to the point, and kind of got myself in a rhythm to wake up early every morning and dedicate some reading time to myself, and started that and do that daily. And probably October of last year, I think, is when I approached our city administrator here, and
you work with the city?
For the city. Yep. I bought her a book and kind of got a hold of her and, said, here's what I'm looking at doing. And I bought our director one in the department I'm in. I bought him a book, and actually one of our HR people, I bought them a book, and I just kind of started buying books for people and said, this is what I want to do. And shortly thereafter, we started a book study weekly. We do one chapter a week, and I cover 3 different classes a week doing that. We got through the first book, which I picked up. First one I read was 30 Traits of a High Impact Team Player.
Yep.
And so that's the one I started with. I think we just got through that one. I'm actually going to go with Leading from the Front Lines next.
Okay.
And hindsight 2020, I probably should have started with Leading from the Front Lines because that's more personal But, the one that stuck with me was the 30 traits, and that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to sell everybody on first. So,
yep. And that's a good one to introduce. That's a good one to introduce people on, because it doesn't take you straight to work in the mirror quite as hard as the frontline book.
Yeah. You know what? You get eased into it, and then you really start hitting the looking in the mirror portion after that. So
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Yeah, the most important thing when somebody like you is introducing content is introduce whatever you're passionate about, right? And you were passionate about that, and take it and run with it, because there's always a different order could work better for some people than other people. And I mean, there's a generic order, but the main order is whatever somebody's interested in, whoever that is, who's going to lead the book study and facilitate it. And let me just share right here, while we're talking about that, for anybody watching or listening, that they can. We got a 45-minute video now. I don't even know if you know that. I can't remember if I shared that with you or not.
We talked about it, and I honestly, I haven't went out and looked yet. I need to get out there and look, but I haven't done that yet.
So for the listeners, it's bluecollarleadership.com/book study training. You can see some testimonials from folks, and then also there's a 45-minute, there's a button to a 45-minute video training of Rhea and I talking about how to facilitate a high impact book study. But Brandon's a pro on it now. He's been tearing it up. But let's go back and talk about, you said a lot of different things right there. So let me just make sure I'm clear, and also so the audience will be clear. A year ago is your first introduction to personal growth and development, or that's just when you discovered my stuff?
No. I got out of high school and said, I don't need to read anymore. And
when was that?
2000, graduated in 2000.
2000.
So I've been out 24 years, and I thought, you know what? I don't need to read books. It's got to be good content for me to pick a book up and read it. And, and I think that's why I was pulled in by your guys' content, because it's short and sweet. It's easy to read. It's easy to go with. Now I've tried to introduce myself to some other stuff. James Clear's Atomic Habits. I started on that. Stephen R. Covey's, that one, I started it and I had to stop it because that's a bit much for me at the moment. But
I warned you, that stuff make your head hurt, man. Those big thick books, and go deep into the philosophical hard words. You got to get a dictionary or look up on your phone these days. What's this word mean and all that stuff. You know what I mean now. You heard me on the podcast say that, right? It make your head hurt.
Yeah, it does. It does. But no, and this is the first, roughly a year ago is my first deep dive into leadership content. And, it's good stuff. It's good reflection in the mirror. It's good. Take it to your team and let your team hear it all. And you guys can learn to be on the same page, and they can grow and get better. And, it helps team synergy down the line and everything. So it's good stuff.
And what kind of work do you do for the folks who don't know you? I kind of know a little bit about what you used to do, but not literally. I don't know myself exactly what you used to do during those 24 years, I guess.
Yeah. I actually started off after graduation. I was going to go to electrical technology to a small school about an hour from home, and started working with a company and started making some money. And, that's when you see the money at 18, that kind of makes your priorities change a little bit. And I was lucky enough that employer sent me through some schooling through the employer. So I never went to a college.
Okay.
And got a certificate. The Department of Labor recognizes it as a diploma. So that's a good thing. But we, after that, I was up there for about 5 years, and I moved back and in the electrical field for roughly 10, as far as the digging underground electrical work goes.
You were doing the work.
Yeah. In the trenches and everything else. Yep.
Yeah.
And then 2010, I started a job with the city here, the municipality, and we did underground high voltage work, and, still digging in the trenches and everything else. And roughly 6 months ago, I took a job as our safety coordinator.
For the city, or just for the electrical division?
Yeah, for the city. Yep. Nope. Still for the city. So it's still the electrical division, but it's our utilities department here.
Okay.
And so now it's more office work, which is okay the older I get. But
it make your head hurt too, won't it?
Yeah. I told you earlier, it's more mental these days than it is physical. So that's that's kind of the journey I've been on, and loving every minute of it. There's a lot of good people here. The book studies we do here, we have some good participation in those. And I think the best part that I've gotten in on thus far through you guys is, Jason Denham's monthly leadership drip. That's been great stuff. I was just on there last Saturday, and that's good stuff. So I'm glad he opens that up to everybody, and that's my final goal here, is to try and get a leadership drip type thing like that rolling here.
That'll be awesome, man.
So
yeah, if you can do that, and if you're willing to make that happen, and you can get some families like you see on Jason's call, right? He's got teenagers in the room, got spouses in the room. Sometimes there's relatives, aunts and uncles, or brothers and sisters, or you don't ever know who's going to be in there with him. But he encourages it as many people as possible, right? And he wants to introduce it to other folks, and he wants the folks like you that get on to introduce it to other folks. And that's what's cool about what he's doing. He's just trying to help people, and that's what you're trying to do, especially those you work with.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, that makes us all better. Personally, professionally, and at work, you got somebody that's willing to invest the time and the money into you to get better. Why would you not take it?
Yeah.
It's there.
So tell me, what was it like when you first dove in? Like you went 4 hours on the podcast right off the bat. Like you that's like cliff diving. You didn't just stick your toe in the water. You went off the cliff.
Yeah. It kind of was.
Did you start at the beginning, like number one, and just start going, or did you? How did you get going? You remember?
I think where I started, I got to remember what episode that was that you gave your number, but I listened to a couple, and I don't remember which ones they were. And then I think I went straight to the 30 traits, those 30 episodes.
Okay. And might have been in there. I might have been doing that. I can't remember.
I really don't remember either. But I've listened to almost all of them, all of your podcasts. I don't know if I got quite all of them. I'm not Josh Davis dedicated as far as that goes, but
he's been making laps. He done went through all of them a couple times.
Yeah, but no, I need to do better. I've been trying to reach out to some other podcasts just to hear some safety stuff, when I'm out riding my bicycle and getting my exercise in. I try and broaden the horizons on the safety side of things, being that's where I'm at now. But I still get over and listen to some leadership podcasts too. So.
Yep. I got to divert for a minute. You talk about riding a bicycle. You ride road bikes or mountain bike?
Mountain bike. I actually I was running for a long time, and then I ran they call it the market to market here in Nebraska. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they run from Omaha to Lincoln, and you have a team, and you got to run certain legs. And that next morning I woke up and I got out of my camper to get outside, and I about fell out instead of walking out. And I kind of retired the running legs after that, and I need to get more exercise. So I just started pedaling the bicycle. And so I try and ride anywhere from 5 to 10 miles at a time when I do it.
That's good.
3-4 times.
You guys got some trails out there?
Gravel roads.
Okay. That ain't near fun as a trail, but it's better than riding a road bike on the street to me. I don't want to get ran over by somebody who ain't paying attention.
Yeah, I've had to I wear high vis and everything else when I go, so I'm pretty aware of traffic so I don't get run over.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So you had been working with a city, and it's the city of Grand Island. Is that where you live? That's you live there and work there?
Yep.
So you've been working there how long before you discovered leadership and started investing in development for yourself?
I think so this year I'm at about 14 and a half years. So if we say round number, 13 years before I discovered.
So a lot of people knew you. You knew a lot of people. And then all of a sudden something happened to you.
Yeah.
Probably like me when I was going through this, because deep as you got into it, people know something changing about you. Can you share any of that with me?
Yeah, I think the best way to simplify that, coworkers, my wife, they all kind of looked at me and kind of wondered what was wrong with me. I think for a while, because I'd referenced some stuff in the book and everything else, and but it's good because I went straight to the people that felt like would listen, and we could get the book study going, and they did, and they said, have at it. If that's what you want to do, let's get it going. And so we take a half hour every Wednesday and go through it and go on with it. And so it was good. I don't regret anything about the journey I've had thus far.
Yeah.
Only regret I have is not discovering it a little bit earlier, I think. So
I think we all have that one. So that's cool though, because that's an important thing. I mean, it's one reason that I'm so proud of you and people like you that are growing and myself and Rhea, all of us, we're going to impact people. Like I just interviewed Carlos Cody. His comes out, this Friday, which would be last Friday by the time this one comes out. But I was talking to him, and he's got a little boy, and he's already got a teenage nephew that they kind of adopted, and he's been taking him through some of my books, doing book studies. But they just had a little boy, him and his wife, and he's a couple years old, and I told him, I said, do you know about Happy Kids, 7 Habits for Happy Kids from Covey? And he didn't know about it, but it's a big book, a big picture book. And so he's, because I got started, and then I met Carlos, and he got going, and then now he's going to introduce it to his kid, at 2-3 years old, and that child's life will be completely different. And the relationship between Carlos and his kid, and that's the thing that I'm doing, you're doing, Rhea's doing. You're introducing people that you don't know how it's going to change their life and impact their family in the future.
And, and that's good to know, because I don't think I knew about the picture book. I got a 4-year-old and 8-year-old.
There you go.
That'd be a good one to start. I actually have a 14-year-old and 17-year-old as well. And we kind of made the track to starting into the teen version of 7 Habits.
Yeah.
And I kind of flopped on that one with kids events and everything else. We just got busy, and, there's no lack of excuses, and there shouldn't be an excuse, but, that's something I need to get back into with them too. But that's good to know for the younger kids too, that there's a picture book out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's for like 6-year-old or 5-year-old, something, little kids. But I was telling Carlos, there was a maintenance guy who called me one day after I had introduced him to that book. Later on, he called me. I don't remember how long it was after that, but I was in the garage, and he called me, man. He was in tears talking about that book. He said, man, he was just thanking me for introducing him to that book, because he introduced it to his, I think it was his grandson or granddaughter. I think it was a grandson. And he just talked about how much it helped the little guy, helped the little kid, but it also helped their relationship. And he was literally in tears, man. Hardcore, hard-nosed, blue-collar maintenance guy. And
that's awesome, though.
It is.
That's good.
So make sure you get that one. And
I will.
And then,
I got a long list going, but
yeah, you ain't got a long list though for the little guy, or
no, I don't. You're right.
Yep. You say it was a son or a daughter?
I got a daughter. The youngest is a daughter, and then I got a 4-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son.
Yeah, so you only got one on that list, maybe, for the 4-year-old.
Yeah. So that's good at least. But.
Yeah, man. So yeah, check that out, and then let me know. Like I asked Carlos, let me know, so then I can share with other people. But you'll know too. Then when you're doing these book studies, you can share, and it's just another way you to add value to your groups. So what did they think? And be honest, because I want people to know the truth, how this works. So when you first, how did you get it going? And let me say this first, Brandon, for anybody listening.
Yep.
How many people were reporting to you when you started that book study?
0.
And I couldn't remember if anybody was reporting to you or not. So you were doing your thing, and you got into this, and then you were doing what I was teaching people to do. You're leading yourself well, trying to leverage your influence within the city, and you were not anybody's boss or nothing like that. And you had the courage to, and I think I probably shared with you about the podcast from Justin Galloway, I think, where he was a maintenance guy.
I think so.
He got hungry, and he started just doing it. He did have a team of 5 or 6 people reporting to him, but you didn't have anybody reporting to you. So tell me some details, like how did it work when you started? Like, you got to get somebody to do it. You got to talk somebody into it. You just can't say, hey, I'm doing a book study. All y'all just come show up and make it happen. Tell me some details. I'm curious.
I think to start, I probably went too big. I went straight to our city administrator and kind of said, hey, here's what I want to do. And, then I kind of scaled it back and just went to our department director for the area I was in, and, told him what I wanted to do. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. Order the books. We'll sit down and do it. And, you kind of hear some grumblings. I talked to you about the group size on that one, because it was a little bit on the hefty side. I think we were pushing 12 people on that one. And you said, yeah, you could probably do it, but we don't go any more than that. And we did that, and you hear some grumblings from some guys that you're starting it, and we don't want to listen to it. Because I did the same thing kind of Jason does, through the audio book out, and everybody has their copy and they highlight and have a chance to talk.
Copy.
Yep,
and then
got
you
the
play
hard
it on
copy.
audio. Yep.
Yep. And we did that. And, I think the first probably 5 or 6 episodes, there probably wasn't a whole lot of interaction. It was me saying what I thought about it, and it kind of died there, which is fine. They heard the content and everything else, and
Yep.
that's the main thing. And, and then we started that one, and I think we were 3 chapters in, and then one of our other departments, they have enough to do 2 groups. So we said, we're going to do it over there. So we split and into 2 groups over there, and I would do back-to-back sessions over there too.
Let me make sure everybody's clear and I'm clear. When you said we'll do it over there, that means you volunteered to do it over there.
Yes. I said I will come over and I will facilitate 2 book studies over in the other department, if that's okay with the leadership
that's
that we
awesome,
had.
man.
And
did you know those people, or you didn't even know them, or you did?
No, we still interact with them on a daily basis, and
Okay.
I knew them, and the response over there was great too. We had great interaction. A lot of comments, a lot of feedback from over there, and that was good. So, because we got a lot of younger guys over there too that, when I say younger, I'm talking, mid to late 20s, and, they're getting into their careers, and,
Yep.
So it's good to expose them while they're younger, and they can pick up on it a lot earlier, and hopefully, make their journey a little simpler than mine starting out at about 40, so.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. So how did it go through the, full 30? You went through the 30 chapters,
Yep.
all the 30 traits. You finished that one now, right? Because you're saying you're about to start another one.
Yeah. We finished that probably 2 weeks ago, and we just got our workload right now is a little bit heavy. So we're kind of taking I'm going to try and keep it at a month break. And then
that's
I'm
a good
going to
idea.
order the books up for the next one, and we'll start on the next one.
That's awesome. Are you going to order them direct from me or off Amazon?
Yes. Nope. Direct from you.
If you can give me a little bit of warning, how many you're going to need, so I can make sure I got them. I can get them signed for you.
Okay.
So we keep usually about 20 to 25, but it doesn't mean I always have that many. So if you can give me a little bit of notice.
Okay.
If you ain't in a rush, where I know I can go ahead and make sure I got those ordered in, and they'll be ready.
No, I'll be in touch with you here this week on that, and we might put the order in next week or something, but I'll let you know for sure.
Okay. You got any rough idea how many it might be?
Oh, 50, somewhere in there.
About
Not quite 50, probably 40, 45.
Yeah, I'll put in an order. It'll usually comes within 2 weeks. From me, 2 to 3 weeks when I order. But I'll go ahead and order them this evening when we get done doing this. So
so I got so we got through those, we started those probably the first of the year, the book studies, and then once we started in the other department with the 2 individual sessions, the leadership over there, he had made a comment that we used to get these little pamphlets with some leadership content in it, and we don't get those anymore. And he's like, hey, is there anything we can do with kind of a drip type thing? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I have some toolbox tips books that has your short content in it, the summarized versions, and
45 or 60-second version.
What's that?
You can read those 2 pages. You can read a tip in like 45 to 60 seconds, even though it ain't really meant to be read like a book. It's meant to share once a day, once a week, or something like that, right?
And that's what, I had contacted you first to make sure I said, hey, this is kind of what we're looking at. We want to make like a little newsletter that we send out once a week. And,
how could I say no to Brandon after he's doing all of this stuff? No, man, you got to make it happen.
Well, I wanted to make sure there was no copyright issues or anything else with content and everything else. And, we had a team here that kind of helped develop a good newsletter, the layout and everything else. And, we just put that content in it, and then I go in weekly and type up a new one. And then I put in the link to that relating podcast for that chapter, or that summary of that toolbox tip. And then they can go on and, we got a link to your website that they can see what you and Rhea are about and what you guys are doing. And, it gives them a link to the podcast, and they can listen to some further content to help them grow that way.
Yeah. That's a good win-win. You are tearing it up, Brandon. You just do it.
We're trying.
You on this show, man.
I got a long ways to go personally and professionally as far as development goes, but one day at a time, we'll get there.
Yeah, the Covey, I think it was the president or the president's staff of South Korea when Covey was over there, and at some point he was teaching, the president and his staff leadership development. Stephen Covey, the author of the 7 Habits, and
Yep.
they asked him, how do you know you really value this stuff? And he said, because whenever I slip, I always go back to it. Right?
Yeah.
None of us are going to be perfect, and we all are going. I say always going to be under construction. Right?
Yep.
People who don't understand what this is really all about, the personal development stuff, like Jason mentioned it the other day on his call. People don't need to get on there and judge everybody else. That ain't what personal growth is about. That's why it's called personal growth.
Yeah.
I need to go soak up this stuff, figure out how I need to apply it and how I need to get better in my life. So what was the last 10 chapters of the teamwork book like compared to the first 10 chapters? After people were used to it and y'all were going through, what was really different about it?
I think as we went on, the best part is there was more interaction. You got a few more comments here and there and everything else. And there's the people that didn't comment at all, and that's okay. But as it went on, there was more interaction. And I think that was the best part of it. Now I'm hoping going to the next book, we get more interaction. There's more people wanting to speak with I guess I set my expectation a little too high because of Jason's. He gets a lot of people talking and a lot of input and a lot of people willing to share personally. And a lot of people don't like to do that, and I think I've kind of hit that wall here that a lot of people don't want to open up totally, which is fine. But, the best part is through that whole thing was I got to share for me personally what that relates to me.
Yeah.
And saying that to an outward effect to other people, I think that had an impact on me as well. Just hearing it through my voice to other people, I think that kind of related with me even a little bit more as far as what I need to do better and the road that I need to choose to get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So would it be possible? I don't know how long y'all have for these things. Would it be possible before you start that next book study? Would it be possible with each team to watch that video training? It's 45 minutes. Would you be able to do that, or would you have to chop it up into pieces?
I think we could probably do the whole one. If not, we could do half and half. So, that maybe be a possibility too. I'll have to look at it. I'll go out and tomorrow, I'll log on and, check that video out and see what it's about. And, I think it's a very good possibility. And if that helps, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, if you'd follow that format, you'd probably, especially with the Front Lines book, because it is more reflect, look in the mirror and how do I lead myself well? It'd be a perfect way to shift into a completely kind of different gear. But if you'll do it like that, like we teach in that video, it'll be different. It'll probably be what you were wanting it to be. And Jason can't do like that because it's too many people, on his call. But in a way, they kind of doing a hybrid probably version of kind of what you did versus kind of what I'm teaching. But if you'll literally go do that, and it'll be easier if you decide to do it that way, it'll be easier for you if they'll watch it, because then you're training them how to be a facilitator. So then you got a team of facilitators trying to make sure this thing goes right. And we all know why we're doing it this way. The people are not thinking Brandon's crazy for saying this the way he's saying it, or just saying thank you no matter what I say, and all that kind of stuff. But if you can get them to watch it and just say, hey, let's experiment. Let's do it this way for this book and see. People still may not talk, but the ones who talk, if they'll do it that way, and especially you as a facilitator, if you'll do that inward kind of talk from humility and vulnerability and make it really personal, like we teach, you'll inspire other people to do that. And we went into an electrical construction company one time, and we were just teaching them how to do it. And we only went through 2 chapters, and they was like, these are hardcore blue collar, electrical construction guys. Yeah. And somebody in tears. Usually when you do that right, meaning you follow the principle and the method, it just affects people emotionally, because it's a completely different thing than what you may have done is what I typically call probably more of a book discussion, where you're just trying to talk about it. And that's fine too. That's far better than nothing. But the way we teach in that video is it's intended, that method is purely to help you transform yourself, and you as a facilitator to to kind of facilitate transformation within others by sticking to that method. But anyway, you might want to try that. And
Okay.
it'll go real good with that book. But really, it worked with any book, but any kind of book that's looking really in the mirror.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely give that a shot.
Well, that's cool. So I'm excited for you to go do that. So can you share any? You work there? You said 13, 14 years now. Is anything different? I mean, is it, y'all are still doing it, so I assume there's some kind of results coming from it. Is the teams work better, or y'all talk better, or what?
I think overall, I think communication's probably a little bit better. Teamwork, that's always a work in progress. You got different personalities and everything else there, but that's my main reason for doing this, is trying to get people to look in the mirror and, find that team synergy, and just working together and doing those habits, and look in the mirror and what can I do better, or how can I help this person get better, and we're there for one another. Everything goes better when we work together as a team, and we got good morals and values and everything else, and we're there to get the same common goal.
Yep. So how has it? So that's kind of the whole team picture, how it's actually helping you guys. And you didn't mention it, but I guarantee you guys have some better relationships than you had without doing these. Somehow it just facilitates relationship building. You agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think you take that. I'm going to give a round number of 15 minutes. You take that amount of time, you listen to the audible, you have your discussion if you need to have it, and, I think just getting people together and sitting there for that 15 minutes and listening to it, and you're all hearing the content together, and then you hear what a couple people had to say about it. Yeah. I think overall you probably do mesh a little bit better and have better relationships with each other through it all.
Yeah. And the way that we teach in that video, it definitely causes that to happen, because people start sharing like personal stuff.
Yeah.
Because they feel safe, and it's a completely just different method. But so how has it impacted you individually, working with all these people at home, customers, suppliers, other departments? How has so you got a little over a year under your belt. How has it changed you or impacted you?
I think it's helped. Personally, I feel that it's helped me with some networking, relationship building, because you look at yourself and, okay, I act this way, or I do this way. That doesn't work. You don't work well with people when you act like that, or you treat people a certain way, So overall, I think just digging deep into your internal self and finding those faults and growing from those faults and learning, that's what it's about. And I think that's helped me overall, personally and professionally, get to where I am. I think that's helped me tremendously in where I need to be. I'm not where I want to be yet personally. Professionally, maybe I think I'm making the right steps in that direction, but personally, I got a lot of growth to go, and I'm here for it.
So. Yeah, that's good, man. So what's been, let me just say this for you, and we probably talked about it, and you probably know, but just for anybody watching and listening, also just want to kind of give them, you've been talking about the Frontlines book, the teamwork book, and you went through the teamwork book first, and then took the team through it. But you said maybe I should have started on the other one first. So let me just help people and you maybe have a little overview, just a high level overview of those two books. So the teamwork book. Actually, I'm going to talk about the Frontlines book, because I always do recommend people go through that first, but not if they gung-ho about the other book like you were. So I said, go do that. Whatever you gung-ho, go do that, because you'll make it happen, right? That's why that was important. You need to make it happen. But now that you understand it in the future, the blue-collar leadership leading from the front lines, it's all about how do I lead myself well, which means how do I become a high-impact individual? How do I become a sought-after employee of choice, the kind that people want to hire, people want to promote, people want to steal me away. And it's all relative to helping me increase my influence 360 degrees by how I'm leading myself just as an individual. So it's kind of like, I tell people that's kind of the foundational work. I got to understand that everything I'm about to learn and do, I want to do it to increase my influence. And also I want to increase my influence because then I increase my options, and life's better with more options.
Definitely.
And so that's kind of that foundational book. And then the teamwork book, Blue Collar Leadership and Teamwork, 30 Traits of High Impact Players. That book is how do I become a high impact team player? Rhea and I talk about the teamwork dilemma. Team members are not always team players, right? And that's what that book. But that book is much more effective if you've got the foundation of the Frontlines book. You still, as you know, you can go through the teamwork book without ever having done the other book and still get a lot of value out of it.
Sure.
But if you're doing it on purpose, you're learning how to be a high impact individual. Then you learn how to be a high impact team player. And then Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision, unleash your team's potential.
Yep.
If I got high impact individuals and high impact team players, if I want to keep them, I got to become a high impact leader.
Yep.
To be able to lead these people in the kind of way that they're going to be required to be led. Because when you understand about that now?
Yeah. And I think, I do think that is a little bit of a regret I have, is not starting there, because I went out and bought the 30 traits first, because that's what I had heard on your podcast,
Yep.
and then after going out and buying the Leading from the Front Lines, it's definitely should have started at that level first. And, and I think my thought process was starting with 30 traits with our coworkers here and our team here was, how can we be better together?
Yep.
And I do regret that a little bit, because the foundation needs to happen first. So that's, if I had to do it over again, I would start with the Leading from the Front Lines and go.
And now you understand, but don't beat yourself up about it.
Definitely. But it's just one of those that I really do wish I would have started there first, because that's more foundational after going through it. So.
And Brandon, I talked to a lot of people who have not done any of it, and I recommend what I just told you, those three in that order: Front Lines, Teamwork, Supervision, and then they still go start with Supervision.
And I think that'll be. I do have the Supervision book too, and that's probably going to be the third book, as long as they let me keep doing it here. And that's my goal, is to just keep grinding away on leadership content and getting better about it. But, I'm actually just going to start. I think I'm finishing up the book I'm on, James Clear. And I think after that, I'm going to re-hit the Leading from the Front Lines book, because it's been about a year since I read it. So
okay,
got to go back up and brush up on the skills again. So see what I'm doing quite right. So
there's I can't remember, somebody I interviewed. Justin Poss. I don't know if you saw his interview just came out actually Friday. It's really, really, he's sharp. He works at Chobani Yogurt.
Okay.
You ever heard of them?
Yep.
About 1,200 people. He's a director of manufacturing there. He discovered my stuff 3 or 4 years before 2022. And then he reached out to me in 2022, and he's like, I done been through the Frontline book like 100 times. He takes multiple people through it individually. They go through it. But he's just funny to talk about, like you said, go back through it. And he rattles off them things like I do the 7 habits. I don't even, he knows my book better than I know my books, because I didn't study my books to transform my life, but I did the 7 habits that way. Right. And so it's just cool to, meet people who know my podcast and my books like I know other people's stuff that impacted me.
And I need to get there. That's my goal, is to get back and get these read better. And I read it, and then I go to the next content, and then how did that pertain to me? In the last book, and kind of forget as you go. And it's good to go back up and brush on the content again and find those gold nuggets and hold on to those and just keep refreshing. So
you'll absolutely, you'll see things different. If you read it today and you read it tomorrow, ain't nothing going to be different. But if you read it today and you read it 6 months from now and next year again, you're going to see it completely different. If you've been growing, because you're completely different. If you just read it and nothing changed, you read it again, probably nothing going to be much different. Unless you're going through some stuff in your life at the moment, that might cause you to, see things different if you've had something to happen. But when you learn that all this stuff is to just help you increase your influence, that's when people really understand that, and most everybody will buy into that if they understand that, because everybody wants more influence. They know their life will be better. It'll be better at home. It'll be better at work. It'll be better in traffic. It don't matter where you're at. if you get pulled over for a speed ticket, it don't make any difference. The more influence you have, better your life's going to be, right?
Yep.
It doesn't make any difference. And when people really can understand that, they buy in on their own. They don't need anybody to help them buy in.
Yeah.
So you've been going through with Jason on the Ria's book, The Ladder of Influence.
Yep. I did miss quite a bit of the summer with vacations and then kids' activities. And
yep.
I thought I was going to make the clear on this last one, and I forgot about a softball game that I had to attend. So I got most of the content in, and then I had to bail a little bit early. But
that's probably why he didn't call on you. I was like, wonder he must not have saw Brandon's name, because I saw your name earlier. I knew you were on the call, and I was like, he didn't call Brandon, but it's a lot of people. A lot of times he can't keep up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that book, you said you had some teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard me talk, but I tell everybody, to me, that book, a teenager in high school, they ought to have to graduate they ought to have to read that book before they can graduate, because it paints the big picture, climbing that ladder of control of self, character development, competency development, and developing others, and then doing it for a lifetime. But it's just a big picture. But it'd be a really good introduction for seniors, but any high school age kids could go through that. So
you might know that. And that book's full of good stuff. I mean, that, the last 3 chapters he covered, I read it previously prior to Jason's leadership drip, but I missed the last half of 30 this last weekend. But it's holding yourself accountable and everything else, and it's all those, growth is the byproduct of failure, and you don't give up. You just got to keep getting up and keep going, and that's what it's about. And that's the ladder book is great. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in that one.
Yeah, so I just got to brag on you some more, man, before we wrap up here. We got a little more time. Do you have a certain time you got to stop by?
No.
So we usually try to keep them at an hour or less, but sometimes we go over. It gets going good. Sometimes at the end, for some reason, we just keep going. People don't want to watch it; they can turn it off, right?
Yeah.
But man, I lost my thought. What was I about to ask you? Oh, what I wanted to say was brag on you, because anybody out there listening, there's so many leaders that I meet, Brandon. I mean, formal authority leaders, sometimes high level leaders, but sometimes they're entry level leaders, team leaders or frontline supervisors, but sometimes they middle management, upper management. Sometimes they the owners, the CEO. But I meet so many leaders who ain't ever done what you've been doing, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And that's why I got chills right now thinking about what you started doing as a frontline entry level person. Nobody reporting to you, right?
Yep. Nobody. Zero.
That is so awesome. You don't even know. If you don't stop this, the city probably won't stop you long as you're doing it, because you're passionate about it. You're getting results, right? And you're going to just get better and better. But even if they did, you as a person, I don't think will stop. You may take little breaks. People take breaks and then they get back on it. But I don't think you could ever. I don't think anybody can go through it as much as you have and just like forget about it for the rest of their life. I ain't seen nobody do that yet.
Yeah.
I see people who get a little interested and they fall off a wagon and they don't ever jump back on. But I don't see people who really dive into it. So you don't even know, man, what your future's going to hold. You don't even know the lives you're going to impact. Some people won't ever tell you. You may help people stay married, and they may not ever tell you they was having problems and they fixed it, and they give credit to you in the book and all. You won't ever know, but sometimes you will know. I mean, I've heard those kind of stories. There'll be people who rebuild their relationships with their children, just like I did with my son. Yep. And, I wrote Covey a letter before he died, and hopefully he got it. I was supposed to get to meet him. Me and my son, Eric, were going to get to meet Dr. Covey. And then he had I think it was a mountain bike. He had a wreck, and he had on a helmet, hit his head, got a concussion, and then he never really recovered from it and passed away. So we didn't ever get to meet him, but hopefully he got to read it and hear the impact we had. But everybody don't tell you. Right. But that's the kind of stuff. That's where your passion and energy. Yeah. It could be your kids. It could be your 4-year-old that you start into this, and she could be one of those people that she will have a completely different life, and you won't ever know it, because you won't know the life she had that you now start reading these books, right? Your relationship with her, your other children, your spouse, all that stuff. Yeah. It's just so powerful, man. And you're just modeling it, and you started modeling it from the front line, and you had the courage to go and do it, and then you had the courage to expand it, and other people have interest. Who knows? You in the safety coordinator role, you're in the safety coordinator, so you're interacting with a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and you never know where your influence may go with this stuff. I'm just proud of you, man. That's what I want you to know personally. I am
thank you.
Proud of you, because I mean, so many leaders who won't do this. They won't do it, and they won't let anybody else do it, and you just made it happen.
And we did, and I failed to mention, our leadership drip email that we started, that actually expanded out to our police department and our library staff as well. They made comments that they wanted to see it happen, and we did.
That's so awesome.
We had the authority just to go ahead, and so I send it to those guys every Monday morning as well, along with ours, and that's what we're doing. And and I'm hoping, I like I said, I kind of went fast on the leadership drip thing like Jason Denham does, because at the end of the day, I'd like to see this citywide and have the employees and their families join in on those calls. Kind of had to slow down a little bit on that. I was going a little too fast for, my brain was going one direction and the feet were going another, and I had to slow down a little bit. But, that's my end goal. I would like to see that here, and hope a lot of people can jump on board with that and help themselves and help their families and help one another get better. So,
And I'd also like to take a minute, just because maybe some of your leaders probably going to watch this, I imagine, when you tell them you were out. But I want to I don't know them, but I'd like to thank them for allowing you to do all this, because it's all you're trying to do is help people have a better life at work and at home. And from a cultural standpoint, a high level standpoint for the city itself, you help people have a better life at home and at work. You can't hardly run those folks off. When the leaders, and you're building that team, and you're getting support from the top. So it ain't just you anymore, right? It's
right.
As I always say, it starts with me, but it ain't about me. Right. It started with you, but it ain't about you. It's about what you're trying to do as a whole for the city. And I just want to thank those people, because you could have read the books, you could have listened to the podcast, but you couldn't do what you're doing in that city unless somebody gave you the okay on it.
And exactly.
That person may have had courage to do it, because you don't ever know, all the politics and stuff in any organization, not just a city, but in a regular organization, there's always these internal politics and stuff going on. But they believed in you, man. They turned you loose. They value in the people. They're investing in the people, and make sure you probably do communicate that, but always make sure that, the folks are, I guess they're getting paid to be there while you're doing that on the clock. I guess they're getting the book that you got, people, they're investing. Don't miss that point, that you got leaders in this city who are investing in you as people, because what you're doing, what the city is doing, allowing you to do, they're doing far more than is required, because this is not required.
No,
most places. And this is the above and beyond part, but that's where they get that return on that investment, because it's not something they have to do. So then it's seen as something that they don't have to do. These people actually care about us, especially when you start to feel it, right? So you should be proud, man, and be proud of those leaders, and they should be proud. And you guys still just getting warmed up. You just a year into it, and I would just say, if you guys ever do grow enough where y'all do a big book order and have us come out to speak, you may want to start that one out as a thing for like a employee appreciation kind of day, and we would just be a small piece of it. And I ain't even talked to you about that. I just know y'all are growing, and you might go in that direction. But if you did an employee appreciation kind of day, and y'all had to serve some food or grill some food, cook out some food, and they bring their families there, and then, because we saw that with Jason when we speak pretty much every year. We go out there in December, and so sometimes the spouses get more into it than the folks who work there, and then they end up, the spouses are the one with the influence, and you get the husband and the wife on board, and the kids, maybe teenage kids, and that's just an option. If you guys ever do that, that's something you could think about. Most companies are not going to do that. They're not going to use us, for that purpose. They ain't got that vision yet. But I just wanted to share it here with you, and potentially your leaders, if they watch it. It's a way to add value in a way. It's kind of a soft introduction, instead of like, this is who we are, this is where we're going, and you got to go do this. Just kind of throw it out there, a big blanket deal, and See what happens.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something I've been trying to get. I shouldn't say I've been trying to get. I've been wanting to get you guys out here. It's on my radar to do. Kind of an extra other couple strings I got to pull to make that happen, but that's
You're working on it.
that's definitely in my end goal to have you guys here as well. So that's
and for you and anybody listening, the value of that is a lot of times when we come in a room, we tell stories, especially our personal stories.
Yeah.
So a lot of people kind of connect with us on a different level, because then when they hear the book, they're hearing me talk about it. They know where I come from. They know Rhea's story. They know where she comes from. It just, when we're in a room with people, it's just different. And
definitely
what you guys are doing is phenomenal. A lot of people do that. They don't ever have us in the room. They just go do book studies. And then sometimes they grow their way into having us in, and they kind of say what you did about the book. Oh man, we should have did this first. But
live and learn.
Hindsight's easy, right? But you are learning. So in the future, as you grow, there's no telling what you might be. The mayor of the city administrator one day, man. Who knows?
No, I'm good where I'm at.
You don't ever know, man. Just all kind of growth can happen.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
I don't think I just want to say I appreciate your and Rhea's time, taking the time to sit down and talk to me and let me share my story. And, I think it's a great thing what you guys are doing. And as far as real people getting real results, all those interviews and, all the podcasts you guys put out and the great content and the books you guys put out and, getting out and sharing your guys' story. And it's great because that's what people relate to. So I appreciate that.
That's outstanding, man. You got any advice for somebody who's maybe hearing this and they maybe ain't never read the books, ain't listened to the podcast. Somehow they just, maybe somebody you introduce it to, or they share it and then they hear it because of you. What, from a personal growth standpoint, why should they even be interested? Why should it matter? Like, their life's good, the income's good, the family's good, all that stuff.
Because I think you don't know how much better it could be.
Oh,
just pick it up, listen to it, read it, watch it, whatever you got to do, just do it and grow yourself and get involved with the content and really let it hit home with you and self-reflect and, see what you need to do as an individual to get better and then to help everybody around you be better people too. So that's probably my advice. Just go do it.
That's a good answer though. How much better could it be? Same thing as what you're leaving on the table, because you don't know what you don't know till you start diving in.
Exactly.
So I just want to share, Rhea just popped up the link for anybody listening. You can go read 100 plus pages of our content. Go to bluecollarleadership.com/download. Anybody out there listening, you ain't got to spend any money. You ain't got to put in an email. You ain't got to subscribe to nothing. Just go to bluecollarleadership.com/download and you can preview a lot of my books. And then also there's a link to go preview a lot of Rhea's books. If you don't know about this stuff, you don't want to spend your money because I don't know if I'm going to like it, just go dive into it right there. You can read 100 plus pages from multiple books and you'll get an idea if you want to start investing in yourself. And also, I think Rhea shared the Blue Collar Leadership special offer. Just want to tell people we're planning to change that at the end of the year. Anybody out there listening who's maybe been thinking about bringing us in, the current special offer is 300 books for $5,400, which is actually the cost of the books. We'll pay all our expenses. We'll come out for speak up to 2 hours anywhere in the 50 states. And 2024, we're going to make that. It's going to be $7,400. You still get the 300 books, and then you also get a 1 month subscription to our all access online video training courses. Right now, we got that on 7 books, so they're about a 7.5 hour video course on each book. So just want to share that with anybody who's listening. Don't want it to be a surprise to you when our special offer changes. This will be the 3rd or 4th revision we've had. We change that as time passes, but the reason we're changing that, we're trying to help people get results. So we'll come speak basically kind of for free is the way it ends up. People buy the book, and then now we're saying you got to do because it's $2,000 for the all access course for a month, and up to 2,000 people can enroll in that. So when you have us come speak, now you got the books. You can do book studies like Brandon's been doing. And then if you want to, people can go through the online course. They got a handout. They can fill in the blanks and have Rhea and I teach it to them. So it's just like a whole package. And basically you're getting the value in whatever you pay for. So thanks everyone for listening. Anything else, Brandon, before I wrap it up?
I don't think so. That's all I got. Thank you.
All right, man. It's been awesome having you on. Thank you for having the courage to come on. Maybe some other folks will invite you. Rhea put up your LinkedIn information, and you wanted us to share that because if somebody wants to talk to you about if you are inspirational or motivational to them, you're happy to reach out to people. Yep. I mean, people that reach out to you, you're good with that?
Yep, definitely.
Yep. So it's linkedin.com/in/Brandon Kluthe. There it is. Rhea just popped it up on the screen. If you're listening, his last name is Kluthe, and it'll be in the details. So we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks to everyone again. Thanks again, Brandon. I hope you have a great evening out there in Nebraska, and we're gonna see you one of these days, even if it's close by. We're gonna see you. All right, folks. Talk to you next time.